All right, today in class we talked about volume of triangular prisms and pyramids. And on your math chart, you look at volume, it just has prism and pyramid. So this works for any prism and any pyramid. So the past couple days we've talked about rectangular prisms and rectangular pyramids. So now we're going to look at a triangular pyramid and triangular prism. So looking at this first one, so here are my two formulas. This first one would be a triangular prism because it has two bases. Here's a base and here's a base. So that makes it a prism. And then those bases are triangles, so it is a triangular prism. Okay, we're just going to kind of ignore this part. All right, so we're using a prism. So our formula would be volume equals area of the base times height. And now we look over here. These are my bases. It does not give me the area of the base. So I'm going to have to go off to the side and find the area of these triangles, which, I mean, they're going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to find the area of one of these triangles and then multiply it by the height of the prism. Now, when we're looking at the height of the prism, there's lots of numbers here, and the height is not always going to be the one that goes up and down. Your height is going to be the length that connects the two bases. So on this one, it is the one that goes up and down. But if this prism was turned sideways, then your height might go across. It might be horizontal. So what you got to know is the base, you have your bases, and then your height is always going to be the one that connects those two. So our height of this prism is going to be 7. So I'm not going to use the 7 on the base when I'm trying to find the area of the bases because I've already used it. It's the height. It doesn't have anything to do with the base, the triangles. All right, over here when I'm finding the area of the triangle, area of a triangle formula is 1/2 base times height. Now this is the length of the base and the length of the height. We've talked about how it's kind of confusing because they're both h's, but this one is talking about the prism. This one is talking about the triangle. So when I'm doing the area of the triangle, all I'm looking at is this triangle. I'm not looking at the whole prism. I'm just trying to find the area of this triangle. So these two are congruent. So this part is 5 and this part is 5 if we brought those down. So I have 4 numbers here, but all I need is 2. The 2 that I need are the base and the height. And when we did area of a triangle, we talked about how the base and the height always form that 90-degree angle. They're always perpendicular to each other. So right here is the 90-degree angle. So the 3 and the 8 are the 2 that are perpendicular to each other. So this would be 1/2. The base would be 8 and the height would be 3. So half of 8 is 4. So these two together make 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to come back over here and plug 12 in as my area of the base because that was the area of the triangle. Now 12 times 7 would be 84. This is feet. And since we're talking volume, it is feet cubed. Okay, looking at this one. Again, this is a triangular prism. But the difference in these two is just the way that they're turned. They're the same type of shape, but this one is sitting on one of the sides and this one is sitting on one of the bases. So over here, your bases will be your 2 triangles. So that's a common misconception that the 9 and the 5 are the 2 that you're going to use on the base. Remember, the base doesn't always have to be on the bottom. The base is, if this is a triangular prism, then it's the 2 triangles. It's going to be the 2 that are parallel to each other. The bottom here doesn't have anything parallel to it. All right, so it's a prism, so we're going to use this formula again. If we have this triangle and the back triangle, the one that connects it would be the 5. So the height of the prism is the 5. Now, I don't know the area of the triangle. So I'm going to come over here to the side. It's a triangle, so the formula is 1/2 base times height. The base is 9 and the height is 9. Now, I don't want to take half of 9 because it's not going to give me a whole number. So I'm going to go ahead and do 9 times 9 is 81. And then half of 81 would be 40.5. So this would be 40.5 is the area of the base, and then the height is 5. And so then I would multiply those out and get 202.5, and its volume, so it's feet cubed. Okay, this one has two bases also. Here would be a base, and here would be a base. So it is a prism. This 16 connects the two bases, so the height of the prism is 16. And now I need to come over to the side and find the area of the base. The bases are triangles. Oops, sorry. So the base and the height of the triangle is 3 and 3. So I don't want to take half of 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. Half of that would be 4.5. So now I'm going to multiply 4.5 times 16, which would give me 72 inches cubed. All right, on the back, you would work this one the exact same way. Let's look at this one because it is a pyramid instead of a prism. So our formula is that right there. So I know the 1/3. I don't know the area of the base, but I do know the height of the prism is 6. That would be the one that goes straight up and down. Now I have to come off to the side and find the area of the base and then come back and plug it in. Now this is not a triangle on the base. This is a square. So that's length times width or base times height. Both sides are 6. So that would be 36. So come back and plug in 36. 1/3 of 36 is 12. 12 times 6 would be 72 yards cubed. A triangular prism and a triangular pyramid have congruent bases with an area of 25 square feet. They both have a height of 15. Find the volume of each figure. So we have a prism. So our formula for volume of a prism would be that. I have a pyramid. So formula for volume of a pyramid is that right there. And it's written on the front of this page, and it's also written on your math chart. Remember, you'll be able to use your math chart anytime. So don't mess up on which formula to use. You just got to look at whether it asks you for prism or pyramid. This one happens to ask us for both. Okay, now this one's a little bit different than the one in the front because this says the bases have an area of 25. So we don't have to go off to the side and find the area of the base. They already give it to us. It's 25. So I just have to plug in a 25 for the base. I can do that on both. And then the height is 15. So I'll plug in a 15 for the height. So now I just multiply those two and get 375 feet cubed. I'm going to take 1/3 of 15, which is 5, times 25 would be 125 feet cubed. All right, so I didn't work all of them, but that kind of gives you an idea of what the notes were today and how to find the volume of a triangular prism and of a triangular pyramid.